Hi, excuse me. Welcome to Hope in the Light of Suicide. I'm Tammy White. I'm your host and founder and CEO of the Bobby White Foundation. And I want to thank you, everybody, for joining us today. First, though, I need to thank my producer, um, Area 52 TV, right? um, Area 52 Media Group, John Gaston, and we got Joseph in the background. And if it really wasn't for them, we wouldn't be able to be here because I don't know how to do all this stuff. And also, our sponsor, DeLynn Gaston, with a mortgage firm. Anything mortgages, it's really kind of crazy out there. So it's really helpful to have someone there to help you through all that craziness. And really, she's the gal to do it. So, get into this today. Like I mentioned, last week's show, this past week is kind of that anniversary week of us losing Bobby. Last week, after the show, I asked my producer John if we could move the date because usually we tape on Tuesdays, and Tuesday is the day was the date that we lost Bobby to suicide. But and this is just the way my brain works. But really, it kind of envelops the whole week this week because we changed the taping date to Friday, and but Friday was actually the day that he took his life. April 8th was a Friday, and it's the time period. So, like John said, I'm going to power through. I've got great support in the background, and I've had great support all week. So, and speaking of support, we do have next week our Newport Richey West Pasco support group meets Thursday at the Oasis Coffee Spot. This week we had the Spring Hill Hernando group, which we partner with NAMI Hernando, and we meet there. We had a really great group this past week in Spring Hill. So if you're in the area, please feel free to just show up. It's a safe place for people to talk. You're with people who are on the same journey, maybe at different stages. All our facilitators, including myself, it's a peer-to-peer group. So, we're all on the same journey with you. And we just want people to know it's a safe place. It's free to attend. It's pretty laid back, and the groups are great. So we also have, coming up is Art for Hope. We really need to start promoting this. This is our 8th annual. It's going to be at the Hilton Garden Inn as usual. They're really super great supporters of our foundation and for Art for Hope. We're going to be doing things a little bit differently this year. We're going to be adding a lot of different types of art instead of just, usually it's wall art. And next week, I'll show you a really cool piece. I want to work on it a little bit. And we've shown it before and we haven't really put it out there. But it's a door that my great nieces painted. I can't remember which model, but it's an antique truck door. And the window actually rolls up and down, and it has the words to a Beatles song on it. And we'll pull that up and show that next week. That's one of the pieces that'll be available. And also this piece behind me. Oops, wrong one. That piece. The Hope painting. It's a canvas. That's going to be raffled off as a door prize. It's a really cool piece. One of our volunteers, actually, she MCs has MC'd our events the last couple of years. Kim, she found that piece and donated it for a door raffle. So it's really cool, and it just ties in with everything. So that's really pretty awesome. So we're excited about that. And if you're in the area and you want to volunteer, our volunteer meetings are the 4th Monday of the month, which I don't know when that is. 28th, April 28th. And our next meeting is going to be at the Hilton Garden Inn. So housekeeping done. So, what did I do to get through this weekend to help me? Well, number one, I have great support. My neighbor, Kathy, has called me every single morning, and first things out of her mouth are wellness check. And I mean, she's been a great support from the beginning, anyways. I'm so fortunate. Actually, with all my friends, I'm really fortunate. I'm lucky. I've had a tremendous amount of support from my friends, family, a little bit. My friends have been like the best, but I did. I've done this a couple times. I was how old was I? It was a couple years after losing Bobby when I went and I got my first tattoo, which is that one. That one. And I was 56 years old when I got my first tattoo. And they do say it is addicting, but all the ones that I have gotten have meaning, and it has mostly to do with him. Now, on his birthday, I got the hawk. I did that a couple of years ago. I think that was for would have been his 70th birthday, and so I need a good way for people to and it's part of self care is find something, either something different to do or something that you do. We do something. I do something annually, every year on the date. But this year, I wanted to do something a little bit different. So there's a girl in my neighborhood, and she does fine line tattoos. And so I contacted her, and I wanted to do something different. And I have mentioned that I I also lost my first husband very tragically many years ago, and so I wanted to do something to honor both of them, because their days were one day apart. They were born a few years apart, but their birth dates are one day apart. And so how you know you have birthstones, for each thing. Well, there's also flowers attached to our birth months. And so for mine is August. And sometimes they have multiple flowers attached to them. And these are the ones that I picked that were attached to the birth months. So mine was gladiolas. So there's the tattoo. That's a picture of it. Still had the bandage on it. That was the first day I got it on, Tuesday, April 8th. And that's the center one is gladiolas, and that represents me. And on either side of gladiolas is a peony. And each peony is for each of my husbands. So I get to honor both of them with this tattoo. And just before taping the show, I was able to take the bandage off. It's still a teeny bit red, but I really like it. She did a really wonderful job. And part of the story that goes with this is, you talk while you're getting tattooed, and very nice, very, very nice young gal. And come to find out, just a few months ago, her uncle took his life. And this happens with me all the time when talking to people. And so we talked about how it's affected her and how it's affected her mom. It was her mom's brother. And so she's going to come by sometime here real shortly, so we can give her a purple folder and some literature and stuff that she can give to her mom. But also, we were talking, and our birthdays are the same date. I mean, I'm way much older, but she has the same birthday as me. So that was really kind of cool. And she lives in the neighborhood. So it was cool. And it kind of made the day a little bit lighter for me earlier in the day. And then there's an Outback Steakhouse that's right in that area. And so I went there and had lunch. by myself, and I'm good with that. And a couple of weeks prior to, well, let me back up a little bit here. So the other thing that I do, and I've done this every year, my aunt Carolyn, who has been along next to my neighbor Kathy, there like all the time. My aunt and I started a memorial garden for Bobby, and so every year on that day on April 8th, I refresh the garden. And my aunt and I started it, and then my sister-in-law Mary, she would come and she would help me, and we'd get flowers and plant new flowers and refresh it. That's what we did in the afternoon. Actually, we ended up at Lowe's at the same time and picked out flowers for it. And of course, I always have to have this truck in the background. But I'm going to add a little bit more flowers, and I still need to mulch it, but it looks all nice and clean and refreshed with new flowers. And that's something that I do for myself every single year on that day. That is my way of honoring him. And I like it. I enjoyed it. It's my thing for him. And the last couple of years, my sister-in-law hasn't been able to help me, and but I still do it, even if it's by myself. And this year, she stopped by a few weeks ago, and she brought it up herself. And said, "Sure, come and help." It's a good ritual to do, and it's healing, and I think it's healing for both of us. She's a sister-in-law that has handled the journey, I think, a little bit better than the other two, but it's good, and I enjoy it. It just makes me feel good, and I have to, when we plant new stuff, I have to go out there every single day and water it because I have to fix the sprinklers. I haven't done that yet, but I water it by hand, and it doesn't make me sad. It kind of fills me up just a little bit, and I think that's really it's important for you to find something like that to do for yourself and to honor the person that you lost. Quite often, especially when it is a death by suicide, people tend to, after a while, just kind of push it off to the side. But obviously, I don't. But you can. That's part of the healing journey, and the mourning process is to honor the person who you lost, and obviously, I mean, that's what I'm trying to do with, the foundation and the show. And, you can find ways, to honor your loved one. If they loved animals, go help volunteer at an animal shelter. I mean, there's so many things that you can do when you're ready. And in the beginning, believe me, that's really hard to do. But as you go through the journey, different things will start to happen, and you'll feel as you heal a little bit by bit. I mean, you're never going to be totally healed. I promise you that. I mean, at least I haven't been there yet, and we're 9 years into it. But it you'll find a way to honor the person, and that's special to you and special to them. So, and that's part of. We're gonna continue a little bit with the our book, Wilderness of Grief. I always get this thing backwards on here. Yeah, the wilderness of suicide grief, finding your way. So we kind of pretty much went through, I think, most of Touchstone 5. And so we're going to talk a little bit about Touchstone 6. And I think the universe just is lining up this week with things that are happening and things that are falling into place. Oh, another thing that I did this week, and I hadn't been down there in a while, is I went down to Tampa to the Center Club. A guy that I know, we actually had him on the show last year, Melvin, who started a nonprofit to help veterans in the area through golf. And so we had a fundraiser at the Center Club for Stairway for Heroes. And they have a fundraiser coming up in May. I'll get the flyer and show you guys next week. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be there the week. I think it's May 18th or something like that. I won't be there because I'll be on a cruise. Oh, I'm excited. So anyway, this Touchstone 6 is understand the 6 needs of mourning. And I'm going to get through this, I promise. But I wanted to read this quote that he has at the very beginning of this one. Mourning is a series of spiritual awakenings born out of the willingness to experience an authentic encounter with the pain surrounding the loss. And I've been working really hard on all this stuff this past year. And I think, I think my feelings coming into this week were, I think the anticipation was worse than the actual week has been. And I'm grateful for that. Not all 24/7 of it, but a good portion of it. So he says, if you're looking for a detailed map for your journey through suicide grief, none exists. True. Your wilderness is an undiscovered wilderness, and you, its first explorer. Now, the first need is accepting the reality of the death. Suicide is sudden. And it's hard in the beginning to accept what really happened. And it takes a while. He said this one here is a close cousin to the first touchstone, open to the presence of your loss. And coming to that acceptance is difficult. It's just hard. But be compassionate with yourself. This is where it's a tough journey. We're going to be hard on ourselves. I still am. And it doesn't really do us all that much good. I mean, it's just natural. But be compassionate with yourself as you work through everything that you're going to work through. The second need is let yourself feel the pain of the loss. Our society pushes back on that, especially after a short period of time, and especially when it comes to suicide. It's like, okay, they're gone, nothing's going to change, get over it, move on with your life. That's not helpful. That's not going to help you through this journey, through the grief and mourning process. You have to let yourself feel the pain of the loss. Never forget, suicide grief is usually a slow, arduous experience. Your pain will probably ebb and flow for months, even years. Embracing it when it washes over you will require patience, support, and strength. And the support is really important. Like I said, I am so fortunate. A lot of people aren't in the position that I'm in to have the tremendous support that I have. Like I said, my producer, John, and his wife, DeLynn, who sponsors our show, they've been there for me from the very beginning. And even when I thought about starting the foundation and Art for Hope, DeLynn was the first one that I went to, and she's on our board for the foundation. But she's the first one that I went to with these ideas, about a year after we lost Bobby. And the community has, for the most part, especially in the beginning, very, very supportive. But, I think that comes from I've been in business in this community for a really long time. And like I said, a lot of people don't have that that support. And I know I'm extremely fortunate. The third is remember the person who died. Now, a lot of times after, especially after a while, and when a suicide, people don't want to talk about it. They get tired of hearing it. Um, I had a friend, and this was like 3 years into it, who made a comment to someone, and it got back to me. We are still friends, but she's lucky. Who made a comment that it's been 3 years. She needs to get over it. Well, I'm sorry. That's just not going to happen. I like it when people talk about Bobby. I want to talk about Bobby. The one day didn't isn't the total definition of his life. And look, we get to help people. So as long as I'm alive, his memory's going to stay alive, and I hope you can do that too. And if the people that don't want you to do that, those aren't the people that you need that are going to support you. You need people that are going to support you. They're the important ones. And you can do that so many different ways. You just talk about them. You can keep keepsakes, pictures. I have all the same pictures of Bobby and I up through the house, the same as I did the day that he died. They're not coming down. It's a part of our life. It's a part of our home. Visit places that are significant. Now, there's some places that I can't go to, but there are some that I can. Like, we used to love to go to In on the Gulf for dinner, and we did that on our birthdays, anniversary, and I still do that almost every year on my birthday, which is our anniversary. And sometimes on his birthday, I go. But remember, the past makes hoping for the future possible. Your future will become open to new experiences only to the extent that you embrace your past. Like Dr. Wolfelt says, you have to live backwards before you can live forwards. Mourning need number 4, develop a new self-identity. That's a hard one because, you go from being a wife or a husband to a widow or widower, or a parent to a parent who lost a child. For me, I was Bobby's wife for almost 30 years. And then all of a sudden, my whole identity was stripped from me, my confidence. You lose more than just your identity sometimes. I lost my self-confidence. And I'd lost my identity. You're not going to be the same person that you were before this happened. I certainly am not. I am nowhere near the same person that I was prior to Bobby's suicide. It's been a long journey these last 9 years, and it's going to be a long journey going forward. But with support, I can do it, and you can do it. Be compassionate with yourself. Again, you have to be compassionate and accept the support of others. Sometimes it's difficult, but like I said, if you have the people, you got to have the right people around you. I do. I have my neighbor. She checks on me every single day. I don't know. The only time that I don't talk to her every single day is if I'm not in town. And then I think we still text a lot unless I'm on a ship. Let me see. I think we're going to make it. Many people discover that as they work out on this need, they ultimately discover some positive aspects of their changed self-identity. You may develop a renewed confidence in yourself. You may develop an assertive part of your identity that empowers you to go on living, even though you continue to feel a sense of loss. Look, here I am doing this. Granted, it took John 10 months to talk me into it, but I never thought I'd be here doing this. Search for meaning. This was my meaning, is to help other people. And that came probably after the first year, even though as I struggled through my grief and mourning process, it was still within me. And you'll find yours. Need 5. That was meaning. It's number 6. Let others help you. It's a hard journey, and you have to let other people help you. A support system is so important. And again, I'm extremely fortunate and grateful. It's a hard journey, but you don't have to go it alone. We always let the people with our support groups know that, and it's the same for you out there. Find your people. You don't have to do it alone. It is a hard journey, and you'll find people that can do it with you. You can, and I hope you do, because there will be meaning for all this. You may not think of it right now, but there will be. So my quote for today, the last couple have been very personal, and this one is very personal too. In English, we say, "I'll never forget you." But in poetry, we say, "Your name is written in the stars of my sky, a constellation I will never stop tracing." So there you go. Please remember to keep these numbers in your phone so that you can be there. You'll be the one that can bring hope to somebody. It's easy. Call or text 988. You can be that hope for someone. So I want to thank everybody for joining us tonight. Almost got through it. But I want to thank John and Joseph. And remember, there is always hope.